Hello my darlings, it's Zui here, and today I'm delivering another Bakugou story. Uh, Here's something interesting that happened the last time I uploaded something, and that's why it took so long for me to make a new video. I think I got a bug. Not like an illness IRL, but more like in YouTube itself. Even though the video got regular amounts of views, it almost got 0 comments. And as a matter of fact, when I checked my notifications, whenever I got one, I received comments under that video, but when I actually went to the video, they weren't there. And then I switched to a different browser that I'm not logged on to YouTube with, searched for the video, actually found the video, but again, still no comments. So I hope this doesn't happen this time, because I have been noticing that I'm getting a lot more comments recently, over the past 2 days, on my older videos. So I know I've been rambling, but just in case, could you comment something down below, please? Anything really, it doesn't matter what. You can just even say hello, or maybe tell me how your day was. I just want to see if this is just this one video is affected, or maybe something more serious is going on here. Lastly, to not keep the intro too long, as always, please watch the video until the end to help me out with the YouTube algorithm. Like or dislike, and well, comment something down below. Yeah. Share the video. Send me fan art. I have a Discord link down below. Send the fan art there too, and let's get right into it. You had met your new boyfriend in the Dagobah District Mall. He had been honest with you. He had been challenged by one of his classmates, apparently telling him, "Dude, you're never gonna get a girlfriend with your attitude," hurt his ego so much that he just had to prove them otherwise. You were sitting alone in the food court while checking your messages. Your brother had sent you a stupid GIF on a messaging app. You sighed and were about to send an entirely lowercase LOL as a response when he appeared next to you. "Extra, you got a boyfriend?" You had blinked, more in confusion than anything. Accepting this odd mannerism out of sheer curiosity, you placed your elbow on the table and rested your chin in your hand. With a smirk, you simply asked, "Depends." "On what?" he replied. "Do I become a main character if I say no?" He blushed. You're the first one to ever reply like that. With that simple answer, you had destroyed any potential response he could give you. "You haven't done this often, haven't you?" he said smugly. "I have!" he shouted. You blinked in irritation. Dogs that bark don't bite. Are you really one who degrades himself with shouting? So uncouth. His right eye twitched in annoyance. You could tell you were getting on his nerves, but also that you were the only one who didn't outright dismiss him. With your other hand, you lazily pointed at the seat opposite to you. "Sit." His mouth trembled. "Let me guess. Don't tell me what to do." "Okay, fine." "Keep standing. That seat in front of me is taken." With a scowl, he immediately sat down on the chair. "By whom?" he growled quietly. "By you." "I'll kill—" Before he could continue, you reached forward with your free hand and snapped your fingers. "You're cute," was all you said, and he turned his head away from you. "Are you making fun of me?" he muttered loud enough for you to hear. "No, if I were to make fun of you, I'd call you a Pomeranian." Immediately his eyes shot back to you with an intense gaze. "It's the hair and your explosive personality." You chuckled. I really hope your quirk has nothing to do with explosions. His hands gave off mild crackles in response to that. You know, having a personality like yours with a quirk like that is really uncreative. Your smile widened as you saw his pupils shrink in pure anger. Why don't you try to be a bit more unique? Say something nice to me. And be sincere. You blinked and sarcastically added, "And no, I'm not telling you what to do, I'm challenging you." His mouth quivered. "Come on, I don't have all day." "I like your hair. It's very interesting." It took you a lot of composure not to laugh. "Nice try. Almost got me." He blinked. "Got what?" You ignored his question. "What's your name?" "Bakugou Katsuki," he replied. "What do you want to do, Katsuki? Office work? Hero work?" You looked him up and down. "Also, how old are you?" "I'm going to be the #1 hero of Japan. No. I'm going to be the #1 hero of the world. And I'm 16. You raised an eyebrow skeptically. "The world, then?" Huh. He would have to go toe-to-toe with Europe's knights and valkyries and America's peacekeepers. That would be interesting to see. 17, you answered. After he gave you a look of confusion, you simply said, "My age." "So, do you have a boyfriend or not?" Bakugou asked. Annoyance was in his voice. "Do you go to UA?" You asked while suppressing a yawn. And he proudly hit his chest. "Yes." "Okay, I don't have a boyfriend." You stated truthfully. He looked at you expectantly, and you swiped a few strands of hair out of your face. "What's with that look?" He shrugged. "Didn't expect to get this far." You rolled your eyes. Reassuringly, with only a hint of sarcasm, you replied, "You're doing great, Katsuki. Keep going." "Wanna go, like, on a date?" It sounded more like a question rather than actually being asked out. "Just tell me who set you up for this." His lips quivered. Bakugou really didn't want to show weakness. "Kirishima." "I see," was the only reply. He is an extra of mine, and he said I'll never get a girlfriend during high school, and that makes me a loser." "What, do you want a girlfriend?" He shrugged. "As long as she isn't annoying, and doesn't stand in my way." "How long were your conversations with other girls you tried?" You could feel that question hit him straight in his ego. 0. He said, trying to sound confident. "Oh, so I'm the first?" "Right. Of course you weren't." He had spent the past 4 hours approaching random girls he somewhat found attractive and was shut down every time. "I don't see why not, Katsuki." You shrugged with a soft yet smug smile. "Sure. Here, I'll give you my number, and you give me yours. Call me tomorrow at exactly 5 p.m. or else I block you." The blonde's eyes widened. Yeah, sure." That all happened a week ago. It was a real chore to be with him. Your attraction to him only built very slowly, yet steady. His mannerisms became more charming than annoying. You still weren't over this cliché bad boy shtick of his that was born out of the treatment he had received during childhood. You and his mom had actually a very long discussion about it when he brought you home once. A charming lady she was. In fact, you reminded her of herself a lot. You just were less physically aggressive towards him. Maybe that's why Bakugou tolerated your constant sarcastic remarks against him. In its own weird way, it was kind of sweet actually. After a pleasant evening of meeting his parents, you are now escorting him back to the dorms of UA. "I can't believe you and that hag got along so well," he grumbled. In response, you simply smirked. "She's a pleasant woman. You're just upset she talked about your daycare days." Suddenly, he nudged into you. You were about to protest, but then your eyes noticed his hand. It was open and slightly stretched out. Was he offering himself to you? Of course you had held hands before, but you always had to initiate those. Your smirk turned warm, and gently you wrapped your hand around his. Feeling the warmth of his calloused hand, you could feel your heart beat slightly faster. And finally, after all the screaming he and his mom did just a few minutes earlier, the two of you enjoyed a quiet moment. He wasn't so bad, wasn't he? He could actually become #1. At least in Japan. Suddenly, you looked over to him, so he wouldn't notice. He was blushing heavily. His eyes concentrated entirely on the way forward. When Bakugou got flustered, he got flustered. You almost wanted to tease him about it, but that would ruin the moment. After a while, you entered the subway and took a train deeper into the city. It was just late enough for the commuters to already be home, yet still have a bit of sunlight left. Alone, you two sat down in the seats, your hands still together. For a moment, you considered letting your head fall onto his shoulder, but by the time you had made up your mind, he already did it himself. His hair smelled like a mix of almonds, honey, and strawberries. It was weird. Probably the side effect of using at least 2 different hair products. You reached over with your other hand and gently combed through his hair. At least, as much as the awkward position allowed you. He made a noise in mild protest, but he didn't say anything and just let it happen. What was he thinking? You wondered. Maybe that he could finally drop the tough guy act? Or that he just wanted to try being soft for a change? If anything, you were just glad he showed a bit more personality than just narcissism and anger. After you two arrived at your destination, you kept holding his hand until entering UA's gates. "I had fun today," he said quietly. "Me too," he said simply. Then his lips quivered. I can't believe you got along so well with my mom," he shouted. You rolled your eyes, and before you could shout anything else, you quickly bent down. He was a bit smaller than you, before planting your lips on his. A surprised groan escaped him. Admittedly, it was your first kiss as a couple, and he didn't saw it coming. At first, he not even realized what was happening, and was about to push you away. He just was so unsure what to do, while you resisted the urge to plunge your tongue into his mouth. Both your hearts were jumping at an incredible speed. Admittedly, you had taken a risk. And honestly, you thought he'd immediately push you off of him and call you names. Mostly out of anger that you took the initiative and not he himself. You separated 2 minutes later, when you felt a little lightheaded from your overflowing emotions and hormones. Both of you didn't say a word until his phone alarm rang.
My, curfew begins in a few minutes,
he said almost shyly. You smiled and sighed happily. Okay then. Talk to you tomorrow, Katsuki. And then you left. With a heavily pounding heart, Bakugou proudly flaunted into his dorm's common room, where he was met by a completely agitated Kirishima. The redhead was jumping from one foot to the other, with a grimace that showed anger, amusement, and confusion. Bakugou was immediately irritated.
What the fuck is wrong with you, shitty hair?
Kirishima made a noise. Dude, was that the girlfriend you were talking about all week? Bakugou crossed his arms.
Yeah? Told you she's real,
he shouted angrily. No, you don't get it, said his friend while raising both arms defensively. Dude, that's my sister!